Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Merck Training and Consulting webinars. My name is Adnan Aqil, and I'll be with you today in our Microsoft Excel Power Query webinar. What we'll be covering in this webinar are the following. We will introduce the Power Query tool, and we will demonstrate how to extract or how to import data from different sources into Excel. These sources will include text files, Access files, PDF, website, and Excel as well. So the Power Query is a very helpful and strong tool that is embedded within Excel. It helps us to extract, to link Excel with different data sources. Could it be PDF, text, different database, in order to receive this data into Excel? Because at the end of the day, Excel needs to be fed with data in order to prepare reports. And this is where we can take it into, for example, pivot tables, or we can push it to Power BI as well. So in most of the cases, receiving the data itself is our biggest challenge. So it's either getting the data itself or transforming the data. Maybe the data is available, but it is not in its best shape. So we utilize the Power Query tool in order to connect with the data source, extract the data into Excel through the Power Query. Then we can slice and dice. We can transform the data through the Power Query. Once we are satisfied with the final data shape, then we can push it back. We can load it into Excel, and then we can utilize the data into our reporting, and it could be dashboards, reporting, whatever is the situation that we need the data for. So I'm going to start by showing you how to import data from text files. What we need to do here, let me show you the text file that I have at the moment. So I have a text file. Here it is. Opening the text file would give me an idea how is the data is arranged in this file. This data is related to sales transactions, but they are like not in a proper format that is readily available to be utilized in Excel. So step number one, we are going to import this data into Excel through the Power Query. And then we can go into the Power Query itself to transform, to fix the data shape and format to be like Excel and reporting friendly. Step number one, we just need to start a blank Excel file. This is the one. Now, the Power Query is part of the Data tab. So I'm going to hit the data. On the left-hand side, this is the Power Query that says Get and Transform Data. The file I would like to get data from is a text file. So simply I can click on this shortcut as From Text. Now this window will open for me to uh, locate where is the file. The file is in Microsoft Excel Power Query. And here is the file. So all I need to do now is just select it and hit on import. Now Excel is linking with this file. And now it is showing me how the file is looking like. Now, once I get into this step, I have multiple options to select from. If I'm happy with the shape and format of the file as is, and I want to send it immediately into Excel, I'm going to hit load. But this is not the case because the file as is, it's only like one column, and I need to take it into the Power Query to transform it. So in this case, I'm going to send it to Power Query through the transform data. Now, the Power Query editor, as you see here on top, has opened. And this is how the text file looks like when it is imported into the Power Query tool. Now I need to manage this file. I need to, first of all, I need to split the columns. As we said, at the moment, it's only one column that has multiple data sets, which is not ideal for Excel analysis and reporting. So my first step will be as follows, going into this option as a split column. And I'm going to split it by delimiter. If you look here in the data itself, you can see, for example, first is the number, then I have a dash, account, name, dash. So the dash itself, as a character, it is used as a delimiter to separate these combined columns. So I would like to split them using this segregator, which is the dash in this case. So yes, I want to do it by delimiter. Now, Excel is smart enough to understand that this is the delimiter, which is the dash. If Excel was not able to recognize the delimiter, I need to insert it manually. And all I need to do here, it's going to split it at each occurrence of the delimiter, which is what I want. All I need to do is just to hit OK. Now, what used to be a one column data, now it is split among maybe like 10 or 12 different columns. Still, the data is not in its best shape because the first row is saying column 1.1, 1.2, and this is not accurate. What I would like to do, I would like to have the first row here that has number, account name, brand as the header for this table. So I'm going to use this option that says use first row as a header. Now I can see my table looks much better with a proper header. If you look here on the right-hand side, this shows all the applied steps for this particular query. So for example, if at any point I figured out that I have done a mistake or there is one step that I don't want, simply I can come, for example, this promoting the headers. I can delete it from here. Again, promote the headers. This is gone. So I go back with this generic header. So just this is just to give you an idea about this applied step. Now I want to go back to use the first row as a header. Yes, that's fine. What else, for example, if I look here, I have a column under the name of transaction date, but it's showing numbers rather than a date. How do I know it's a number? Because here as a data type, it shows as a whole number. And even from here, I can see 1, 2, 3 that represents a number format, which is not accurate. I would like to convert this into a date format. So I just click here on this one and I select, for instance, date. Now I would like to add this as a new step. Here you go. Now I have proper dates showing in this field. Uh, Also, for example, I would like to rearrange the columns. I would like to have the transaction date coming here in immediately after the number of the transaction. So I can simply drag and drop it to the left-hand side. Here I have uh, changed the location of this column. Once I apply all the steps required in order to have my data in the best possible format and shape, now I'm happy. I would like to send it back into Excel. So all I need to do from the File tab, I click on Close and Load. And now automatically it goes back to Excel in the proper format that I have created. And the nice thing about it, it comes automatically as a table, because the Power Query is kind of like a structured database. Immediately it sends it back here as a table. So this is the first one where we have imported data from text file. I'm going to save this file as data from text, the same folder. data from text. Save. Okay, closing it. Now let's move into our second type of import. I have data in Microsoft Access here. This is the file. Now, if I open this file, the Access itself, Access is part of Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Windows or the Microsoft Office application. And here I can see it has a table that has budget data. Double clicking on it will show me the entire data. So this data that is already now on Access, I would like to import it into Excel so I can utilize it in Excel reporting and summarization, for example. So I just opened the Access file to show you how the file or the data looks inside the Access, but I don't need it open anymore. I'm just gonna close the Access. Again, I will start by opening a new Excel file. Here we go. From the same data tab, on the left-hand side, I go into Get Data, and here I can see all the options for data sources that I can utilize. Access is considered a database. Hence, I need to go into From Database, and I can find from Microsoft Access database. Clicking on this option, I will get a window to locate the file. So the file is in this folder. Here you go. Select it and hit Import. Now I can see the file where it is showing me that this file has an object. This object is a table under the name of budget. Once I select this budget, automatically it will show me how this table looks like, or like a preview of this table. Now, if I'm happy with this, I'll just go and load. It will take it automatically into Excel. Otherwise, if I want to take it to Power Query to change any data structure or to do any alterations, I will go to transform. Since its source is Access and hence it is properly structured and comes automatically in a table format, this is good enough for me. I'm just going to click load. Now it's already imported into Excel in a table format. So it comes as is, as it is in Access, it comes here. And now I can summarize it. I can send it to pivot table. I can do whatever I like. There is a nice feature here when we are creating queries or linking Excel with other sources. This option is basically a refresh option. Let me show you how this happens. For example, if I come into the here under the properties, hitting this button, I can select to refresh I will select every how many minutes. I just need to disable this option, enable background refresh. I don't need it. And I'm going to specify refresh every 1 minute. Okay. How do I ensure the refresh is happening? I just select few part of the file and delete it. Now Excel is in the background counting the 1 minute, and now within 1 minute, it's going to repeat the same steps. It's going to refresh, go into the Access file, and import it again into Excel on the same place. So this data that I have just deleted, it's going to come back. It is going to be populated again from the Power Query feature. We'll just wait a few seconds and we can see how this is happening. And on the right-hand side here, I can see that this is a table that has 31,680 rows that was imported from Access into this Excel file. So here we can see that already the refresh or the import happened again, and hence the data that I have deleted, it just came back. This is an amazing feature, especially if the data that I'm importing is like live data, or it gets updated every, let's say, 1 hour, half an hour, or whatever is the time interval. And activating this refresh feature will make sure that I don't need to do any manual steps. It keeps pushing the data, the live data, into my Excel file. And if this file has like dashboard based on it, or pivot table summaries or reports, all I need to do is go there and do the refresh, and it is going to update it automatically. Okay, so we are done with this one. I'm going to save it again as data from Access file. Save. I'm closing the file. Now, our third source of import is PDF. We deal with PDF files almost on a daily basis. For example, here I have a PDF file called, it has the details of the United States states, basically. So I open the file. You can see it has a list of the states. They are listed alphabetically from A to Z. And it has some interesting details about them: their major city, the capital, for example, population, so, the area, so on and so forth. If I believe this data is valuable for me and I would like to push it into Excel to summarize it or do certain like analysis on this data, what I need to do is the following. I just close this file. Next, open a new Excel file. From data, and get data, that is a file. So I go into file and I can see here an option from PDF. So locating the file, this is the one, US states. Double clicking on this file. It is now creating a link between the PDF file and the Power Query. And I can see I have two objects here. I have the table itself, and I can see the page as well. So I can decide whether I want to take the page or the table. Now, in this case, it is more or less the same, but in most of the cases, if I have a PDF file that has multiple data, each data is considered a separate table. So you need to make sure which table exactly out of that PDF file you would like to import. So I select this table, and for instance, transform data. Now it is pushing this table into the Power Query, like this one. And if I would like to do any changes, immediately I can do it here. Now, since this is like coming in a table format, maybe I can do a little bit. I can, for example, I can take this column, put it here, for instance, and not necessary, even like sometimes there is, I would like to delete some columns, for instance. I have the capital city, I have major city, for instance, population, total area. Let's say I don't want the state abbreviation. So I just come into this and remove column, it is deleted. Now the data is in its final shape, sending it back into Excel by hitting close and load. Uh, yeah, you're asking even if the same page includes many tables. Yeah, the same page includes many tables. At the end of the day, it will show you each table name, and you need to select one table at a time. All right. Thank you for your question. Okay, so the data now is sent back into Excel the way I have specified. For example, I have deleted the state abbreviation. It's not there anymore. So All I need to do now is to push it or like just save it, or I send it. For example, I do reports on it or whatever is the case. Data from PDF. Fine. Saved. Now I'm closing this file. Now we move into how to extract or import data from websites. Uh, the website basically is our data bank. Lots of times we go into different websites, for example, could it be Google, could it be Wikipedia, any of these sites, and sometimes we find valuable data or information that we would like to utilize in Excel. So for instance, let me open my browser here. Let's say I am interested in doing some analysis on the highest revenue generating films. So I come into Wikipedia and under the search, I type the highest revenue films, for instance. Okay. Now Wikipedia is suggesting, for example, some answers. I come into this one, list of highest grossing films, clicking on this link, and here we go. If I scroll down, I can easily see that there is like some narration, and yeah, this is list of the highest grossing films. This is the highest revenue, and Avatar is the world highest revenue generating film at almost $3 billion. Okay, and this is a list of the top 50 revenue generating films. Now, this for me is a valuable data. I would like to take it into Excel for analysis and summarization, for instance. So what do I need to do in this case? Uh, Here under the page address, I just need to select and copy the page path, basically. Next, what I need to do, there is a question. This option exists in any Excel version or its extension to it? No, this is basically built in Excel versions. If I'm talking about like Excel 2016 and above, this feature is already there, which is the Microsoft Excel Power Query. So I have copied the path or the link or address of this page. Now what I need to do, I need to open a new Excel file, a new Excel sheet, and from the data, I'm going, there is a shortcut here from web. See this one from web. So I hit from web and automatically a screen will be popping up asking me what is the URL for that page, what is the address. I have copied it, so Control V to paste and hitting OK. Now Excel through the Power Query is creating a link with that Wikipedia page, and now it will show here on the screen. So the page is already linked with Excel, and I can see it has many tables. And also I can see it in a table view or a web view. If I click on web view, this is the page that I have seen. What I would like to do, I will go back to a table view and I select the first table here, highest grossing films. This is the table I'm interested in that has the top 50 highest revenue generating films. So, but this is not in a proper format to push it directly to Excel. I would like to send it first to the Power Query. So hitting transform data, it opens Power Query and it sends the data here. Now, for instance, if I come here, this column, I don't want it. So I just select this column and hit remove the column. It is removed. Um, Other than this, there is the rank, there is peak, um, title, worldwide gross or like worldwide revenue. For example, I would like to change the title instead of gross. I would like double click worldwide revenue. All right. And yeah, it seems all is good. Now I can push it back to Excel by hitting close and load. So it comes here in Excel again as a table format because it is the output of Power Query, and everything that comes out of Power Query comes in a table format. And here you go. What used to be in a website page, now I have it in Excel where I can slice and dice. I can do whatever summaries or graphs, for example. Um, for instance, let me show you like a quick one. If I take this into pivot table, for instance, uh, insert pivot table. Yep, here we go. Now I can, for instance, look at the worldwide revenue. First of all, title. This is summary of titles and worldwide revenue. Worldwide revenue, I would like to have it here under the values. Uh, Apparently, it has some data that is not, for instance, you can see this one. It is not a proper currency, so like F. So that's why it is not recognizing it as a number. So all I need to do, for example, just delete these anomalies just to make sure I have proper data here. I believe now all of these and this one as well. Okay, so now all of these looks like proper values with dollar sign. Now going back to the um, pivot table, I just need to refresh. Okay, instead of count, I bring it back here. And I just need, instead of count, I make it sum. It's not giving me this option. Apparently, it seems like this is data only. Because these are general, so I just need to come here and to convert them into number. And I don't. Okay, so these are numbers. Supposedly now it's going to take them, I hope, as numbers. Again, I think there is something. But anyway, this is just to give you an idea how I can take this and create whatever reports I would like. So I'm going to save this file as data from website. Okay, closing this file. Now, the last import we are going to explain today is I have data in an Excel file. For example, this Excel file is called sales data for November 2024. Let me open it so I can show you. This file has sales data for November of 2024. And in total, it's about like 300 plus transactions. I would like to uh, take this data into a different Excel file. And I'm going to show you this feature in two ways. First one, taking it as an Excel sheet. The other way, taking it as an Excel table. All right. Let's start with the first option. So I don't need this file. I'm just opening a new file here, and I go to this file. I'm going to close it for the time being. Okay, I have a new file where I would like to import the data from the other file. And the nice thing about this is whenever that data gets updated, this one will be updated as well. So from data, get data, I go into from file, and the first option is from Excel workbook, from Excel source. I select from Excel workbook. And the one I want is this one, sales data November 2024. Here we go. Okay, so once I link with that file, automatically I can see that this file has sheet one. Uh, Clicking on it, I can see a preview of the sheet. Now, I would like first to take it, for example, this is not in an ideal format because the first, for example, two rows are not ideal. I would like, for example, date, item, sales rep to be the proper headers. So I'm going to take it, push it to the Power Query by hitting on transform data. It comes into Power Query. Now, the first step I would like to do, for example, row number one, I would like to delete it. So I can select here, remove row. I can decide where is that row exactly from top or remove top rows. And I need to specify how many numbers of rows, number only one row. So now the headers are coming as the first row. Now I would like to use these first row data as the proper headers. So using this feature, use first row as headers. Now I have a proper headers for my table. Other than this, for instance, in this organization, we are tracking sales not only by date but by quarter as well. So I would like to add additional column that has the quarter for each transaction. So coming here into add column under date, first I need to select the date column and then add column. From date, I can select quarter and I will select quarter of year. So you can see here a new column added that is called quarter. And since this is November, all of these are Q4. I would like to remove this quarter to put it as a second column next to the date itself. Uh, Fine. Now I think the data is transformed and it is ready to be sent to Excel. So home, close and load. And here it is pushed back to Excel. And I can see the new column added as a quarter. So this is the first one, how we import data from an Excel file or an Excel sheet. Now, what I would like to do, assume it was a table. Okay. Let me show you how we treat it as a table. I'm going to, let me open that file again. So file, sales data. Here we go. In this file, I would like to convert this into a table. But before converting, let me create one thing. For example, transactions of 30th of November, I'm copying them and I'm pasting them at the bottom, having a gap here. Next, I'm going to select the top part only. excluding the one I just added at the bottom. And for this part, I would like to convert it into a table. So insert table, and my table has headers, all is good. Now it's a table. Now this table, I have option here to give it a name. Now, by default, Excel has named the table 1. I would like to change this to be sales underscore data. Enter. All right, so let me save this file. I go back to the previous file, and in a different sheet here, I would like now to import from that table. So data, get data from Excel file, and I just locate the file as the sale data for November 2024. Now, unlike the first time that it was showing me here only sheet 1, now it is showing me all the objects inside that file, and it has a table, and I called it sales data. So I have now the option whether to import the table or the sheet. Okay. Now I would like to import the table, and the table is properly formatted with proper headers or titles. So this is good enough to go directly to Excel. All I need to do now is to click load, and it is linking with that table, and here we go. It is imported in Excel in this one. Now, this table, how many rows it has? Here it says it has 324 rows. Now, what I would like to do, I go back to the source file. This is the table. Scroll all the way down. Assume now my table has a new data. So this new data, I'm going to move it and join it with the existing table. So now the table has expanded and included this data. All I need to do in this case, just save, go back to this file. Well, still, it did not update. All I need to do is to refresh. So if I click here on refresh or right click on refresh, now I would realize that it is not 324 anymore. It is 333 rows. So it updated because that table has expanded. And now when I asked Excel to refresh this query, it went back and updated the link, and I got the new data. So with this, we reach the end of our webinar today about this amazing tool, Microsoft Excel Power Query. If you have any question, please go ahead. And I would like to thank you for attending this webinar, and looking forward to welcoming you in our future webinars. Thank you very much. And it's my pleasure that it was clear enough for you. And I invite you to keep watching our webinars. Thank you very much.
Merck.com